Since he was coaching Purchase Line, and we were talking on Coach's Corner, the Luther Ford Lincoln Coach's Corner. Well, Brandon Overdorff joins me on the telephone today. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, Todd. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. It's good to have you on the air with us today. I know you're taking time out of a busy day, and I wanted to talk a little football with you, if that's okay. It's the middle of summer. It's 1,000 degrees outside. Let's get the kids working out, huh?
Well, it never ends. You know that. And, summer is very important to the development of the football team, and so we're ready to go in the fall, and that's just part of the process. And it doesn't matter what the temperature is, we're always thinking football, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your case, with this Indiana High football team, a bit of a late start simply because of the way the hiring process went, but you're in position now, and you've had a chance to work with the kids a little bit this summer. What are you seeing? What's the team looking like to you?
Well, you're right. We got in a little late, and that always, causes a little bit of a challenge as far as getting to know the kids and building that relationship. So, we've been there 2 months, and what a whirlwind. We just went right at it and got in the weight room and started having conditioning programs twice a week and got to some 7-on-7s. And the improvement has been, steady. I think it's about what we thought it would be. Obviously, we're putting in new schemes offensively, defensively, special teams. So a lot for the kids to learn. Couldn't ask for a better group of kids to start with. I mean, just come to work and really put forth effort. And that's really all you can ask at this point. Believe in the process and trust the process and kind of define what the standard's going to be for those kids. And that's what we've been doing the first 2 months. And I think we're getting comfortable with each other, and they're kind of understanding what the expectations are, and that we're going to hold them accountable to their work ethic. And so I think we've been steady progress and happy with where we're at.
Training camp comes around in another month or so, and obviously you won't know who's on the football team until you actually see them in pads, and so that has to take place yet. But you get them into these summer workouts, and every football coach is doing this, gathering in the evening times for some running drills and some things of that nature. And people wonder about the spirit of a group of kids that have been had a couple of tough seasons. But you get in as the new head coach, and you bring your own spirit to it. What's it been like working out with these guys?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, they come to work. I've really been impressed with their work ethic and their effort on the field. As a coach, you try to set your expectations of what you want. Like I said, there's some work that we need to do, obviously. We're coming off a rough season last year, so, we didn't know what to expect. And I'm sure the kids didn't know what to expect of the coaches and the coaching staff that's coming in. And so filling out process, like I said, but they really work hard. I mean, like I said, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids. And, I think the energy's been good. The enthusiasm's been good. I'm excited. I think the coaching staff's excited. And if we keep just, like I said, working the process and doing what we need to do to be competitive, I think we're going to take a huge step forward as a program this year. And that's the hope, and that's what we're working towards.
When you work in a smaller school, such as you have, and the Heritage Conference, we certainly don't disparage them in any way. That's fantastic, high-quality football. But here in the WPIAL, with the student body so much bigger for Indiana than you're used to working with, that's a bigger pool of people. Do you find that it also translates into more skill, or maybe not more skill, but just more available athletes?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Football is football, but I think that's part of the attraction that kind of lured me to, look into the job at Indiana. You just have more athletes to work with, and I don't know that they're any better. There's just more of them, so it creates a little bit better practice atmosphere where you can have a little more competition at positions and in practice, and hopefully that helps you develop skills that help you compete in the fall. So there's also a ton of kids. I got into the school, late, but the last few weeks of the school year, and man, there's a bunch of kids that should be playing football that aren't. So it's my responsibility to try to get those kids out and recruit those kids, because there's a lot of kids that should be playing that aren't. So, but the bigger school, no doubt, gives you the opportunity to get more athletes and across the board a better balance of athletes. And if you see anybody that's listening, if you see a big kid walking the streets of Indiana, tell them, hey, get on the football field, because we could use any help we could get getting those kids to play football. And I just think that if they don't play, they're missing a tremendous opportunity. Football is probably, in my opinion, obviously a little biased, but the best elective that you can choose to take in high school. I think it teaches so many lessons. 90% of maybe what you need to get by in life you can learn on the football field and on the practice field. And I just hate for kids to miss that opportunity. It's just such a valuable one.
Well, you know what one of your former rival coaches in the Heritage Conference used to say? People think I just go outside, I need a running back, I shake the running back tree. I need a wide receiver, shake that tree. It's not quite that way. You actually do have to convince the kids to come out and be a part of the team. But you're right, the benefits of being a member of a football team are probably immeasurable when you get right down to it. Brandon Overdorff with us, the new head coach of the Indiana High Football Little Indians. Folks wondering, as you take a look at these fellows, and of course I'm sure you've looked at film from last season about some of these guys that are coming back. Offensively, defensively, is there a unit that appears to have more of its act together, or one that appears to really need a whole bunch more work? I'm sure they all need work, but what do you see from them in terms of the skill sets and the way that they play?
Yeah, there's no doubt that we have a lot to learn on both sides of the ball, just because it's a new scheme, like I said, in all three phases. And but hey, we returned Luke Thomas, who's a 3-year starter at quarterback, or maybe the all-time leading passer in Indiana history. So that's a great place to start. I mean, quality kid. I think he's got the ability to play at the next level somewhere, and he's bought into what we're doing. And I think offensively we'll be dynamic and do some things a little different to fit all our skill set. We got Liam McDaniel, who's back on the offensive line. I think he kind of anchors that line. He's 6'3", 285, so we expect big things out of him. Another kid, I think, that has an opportunity to play at the college level. And some surprise kids. We had some kids come back out that haven't played since maybe like junior high. So there's a kid, Ryan Dixon, who we think can be a very valuable player for us, and I don't think he's played since junior high. Returned some guys like Caleb White and Malik Turner, Axel Kowalczyk, Mikhail Bourgeois. Those kids were quality players last year in return, so and they'll probably play on both sides of the football. So we have some guys to build around that have some experience. I don't know that one side of the ball is ahead of the other side of the ball. I think we're just getting comfortable. Like I said, we had a 7-on-7 at Juniata about 2 weekends ago. Every game there, we just improved on both sides of the ball. So I think that's what we're looking to continue as they get comfortable within the scheme. But some quality kids to build around that have some experience.
Yeah, and as they're learning, you're learning too, of course. You're in the WPIAL now. You've got a lot of resources. Some of those folks in your assistant staff or on your staff have been coaching in this league for a long time, and you've got Mr. Dalton, Professor Ed, to draw upon for some lessons as well. I'm sure you want to take advantage of every resource you have, and that's a pretty darn good one to help you navigate your way around the WPIAL, isn't it?
Well, there's no doubt about it, and I spent last year at McGuffey High School with him. I got a little taste of it last year, and we know what we're up against, and but why not us? Why can't we be all the teams that everybody else talks about? I mean, everybody wants to talk about the reasons why we can't be that team. Let's talk about why we can be, and let's come together and find a way to make it happen. And that's what we're trying to build. And, as far as the coaching staff, Bill Warwick's going to be our defensive coordinator. He's been at Indiana for years, kind of knows the lay of the land, and he's been a great asset. And stole Scott Musgrove back out of the broadcast booth, but get him back on the sideline. Teaches at the high school there. So he's been a tremendous asset as far as getting around the school and things like that. So Mike Weaver is going to come up from the junior high and help us on the defensive side of the ball. Mike Boyana is going to been coaching at Indiana for 15 years. He's going to stay on the staff and help coach the running backs. And Lucas Chaycott's got our offensive line, and so on and so. We got a great staff. I mean, I couldn't. I'm tickled to death with the guys that are on board, and I think we all share the same goal: help develop these kids as football players and be competitive, but also develop good young men. And that's the ultimate goal of the sport and athletics, I think, and as a high school coach. So, yeah, lots of resources. Love those guys, and they've been great. So.
Yeah. Old Weaver, he has a way of getting your attention too, doesn't he?
Well, we share a lot of personality traits, so it takes a little pressure off me. I can be the good guy for once.
Well, we're so looking forward to the way this season is going to unfold. I know in the summertime, the guys, you have to preach hydration and everything, and the season starts on August 24th, so hydration is really important. They have to be working on that right now, don't they?
Yeah, and as we go through the month of July, we step up our cardio and things like that. And then the PIAA, the first week of August, what they call heat acclimation period, where you practice 3 hours a day and add a piece of equipment every day through that week. And then the next week is the official start of camp, and it looks like we're going to go back to Kiski and revive that Indiana tradition of going to Kiski prep for camp. But yeah, all that getting your body ready, physically ready to play the game of football, which is physical and demanding, and you're playing the heat at the beginning of the year and then the cold at the end, and it just all starts now. So that's what that's the process that we're in, and we just keep grinding at it. So.
It's a beautiful thing. I always tell them, when they used to go to Kiski all the time, I always told them, if you see my kneecap, it should be down around the 5-yard line on that one field at Kiski. I left it there 45 years ago.
Well, I'll look for it when we're down there in August.
There you go. Brandon, thanks so much for spending some time with us. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you guys, and have a great Independence Day.
There you go.